Welcome to Beans and Breakdowns, a podcast dedicated to bridging the gap between specialty coffee and the heavy music community. On this episode, I'm joined by Pete Hanbury, drummer of the band Walking Wounded. So grab a fresh cup of coffee and wake the fuck up!
What's going on, Caffeinated crew? Today I'm joined by Pete from Walking Wounded, another Cleveland. We've had so many Ohio people on in the past few months.
We've had a lot of my boys in here.
A lot of the boys.
Da boys.
How are you doing?
I am living the dream. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. But
We'd love to see it.
So,
oh yeah, I want to break into that right off the rip.
Well, that's good because that's what's happening. What are you drinking?
Okay. So I have my go-to, my all-time favorite coffee concoction, an Americola. It is. I went ahead. I in honor of this meeting, in honor of us finally, the worlds colliding. Two Alabama Titans coming together.
I wouldn't say that, but
two Midwest Titans coming together. I have never ever like cleaned out or back flushed or did any of like the maintenance you're supposed to do to your espresso machine. I did all that on Thursday, spent like an hour and a half prepping this thing. Got it good to go. This morning, I'm making the first double shot. We're having a great time. I'm making the second double shot. We're still having a great time. Now, my recipe here, if you can, let me step you through it.
Okay.
I'm making a double shot, right? I'm drinking a shot off the top. That's just for me. As for Papa, the drink is, so like a single shot, it would be like a Mexican, like a glass bottle Coke.
Yeah.
It was increasingly hard to find. So I just skipped it and went can mode. And then here's where we go a little bit off the beaten path. There is the slightest bit of blackberry vanilla simple syrup in there, just to kind of set the gauntlet. But I'd love to see what you got.
We chef. That is exactly the kiss. It's there. Mm-hmm. So much love. I saw a photo of that drink on your Instagram, and I was like, we about to have a good convo. This about to be. Anybody who knows the Americola and doesn't, do the Drake hand on the side of the face meme thing.
I am an Americola truther. Let me tell you, I've been on game for so long, and I've put other people on game. It's so refreshing. It's amazing. It's the perfect.
So this is what I have to ask, because you were in the Birmingham area, the Atlanta, Birmingham crossed area, the Octane. Were you around for this?
No.
Okay.
I have heard though.
They had an Americola on the menu, and that was the first time I'd ever tried it. Was in like 2015 at Octane in Atlanta.
Okay.
And since then I was like, this is the shit. This is crazy.
It's goated. I think the first time I ever had one, there's a place in Huntsville called Alchemy that was, I don't know if they're still going or not, but they were in like 2020 when I moved. They had one, and I was like, this is all the things I like. What's there not to like about it? Theirs was a little bit wonky though, because they did like a way too big of a squeeze of lime in there. So it was like too acidic. I mean, what are we doing? Come on. So from there, and then you might be familiar, best, at least in my opinion, coffee shop in Huntsville, Gold Sprint. Goated type of shop. When they opened up, I think I legitimately went 7 days a week, every single day for like 6 weeks. And then after that, it was like, okay, let me cut back to 5 days a week, just like when I'm in town. goated. And I had like a whole spiel when I went in there. I'm like, listen, it's not on the menu. Give me the Coke. Give me a double shot. And I tell you what, give me a cup of ice and put a little bit, just the tiniest, slightest little bit of vanilla simple syrup in there. And we're golden. We're goated.
Man. So I didn't spend a ton of time in Huntsville. I think I maybe went once. But one of my good friends that went to school with me and lives in Savannah now, he is from Huntsville. And so he's told me a lot about there. But Justin Hunter, the Owl King, shout out. You know the photographer? You know him?
I don't believe so, no.
He's a photographer. He's been in the scene for a very long time. And I think he floats between Birmingham and Huntsville, or spends a lot of his time in Huntsville.
Okay.
But he shoots all the workplace stuff now. And
yeah,
he's plugged in.
I think they were supposed to have like a benefit show at the workplace last night that got canceled.
The weather was shit, it looks like.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, you can't drive.
Can't do it. I mean, up here, I would have been like, you know what, it's fine. Basically, it's fine. But yeah, down there, they're not equipped to deal with it.
In Montreal right now, it is snowing, and I think we have almost a foot on the ground, and we have shows.
Yeah.
We have to have snow tires.
Oh, dude, I drove the Mansfield show. It snowed crazy style the entire way there, and it's like an hour and a half from me. And where I live, I'm like northeast of Cleveland in a town called Kirtland. To get out there, hour and a half, dude, the way back, completely white out. People in front of me, hazards, going 15 mile an hour on the highway. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Get it together.
It happens here that there's a highway between Montreal and Quebec City that if it snows the right way, it is terrifying.
Yeah.
But
the thing that gets me, the goofy thing, and I know it's for like all the roads are like, you don't really see it when you look at it, but they're like domed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposed to be so like all the water runs off and doesn't pool in the middle of the road. But when you start sliding, you like automatically start sliding off the road because you're not like on level ground, right. Which is that's a cool thing to do to people that are already like freaking out on the road.
I remember when I was living in Birmingham, there was like the first snowstorm I'd ever been in was like winter of 2012 or 2013. And it snowed, and they like let us go early for the day because where campus was like, it was in Irondale, but it was like off of, 520?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 520. Is the 520 the highway with the bypass?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was like Hoover or whatever.
Yeah. So it was off of 520. And so everybody lived like back towards Hoover and like 281 and all that. And so, wow, that was my first time driving in snow. And I was like, this shit is scary.
Dude, so how did you end up in Canada?
Dude, that is the longest story. We'll get into that. First, before we get too off track, I do want to tell you, because I have major shout outs to give.
Oh, let's hear it.
Okay. So I went to Savannah to visit my family in December, and there is a roaster in Savannah. There's actually a couple now that I love, but this one is the OG, the one that's been holding it down in the third wave scene from the get-go. It's called PERC. I don't know if you can. Oh, it's the bag. I don't know why.
I'm seeing a lot of La Cabra right now.
You can see this.
There we go.
Yeah, I had to cross it in front of my face. But it's PERC. It's their. I just disappeared completely. It's their China. It's from Laoshuzhe. I think that's how you pronounce it. Village, and it's a natural process, dude. This is the like plum heavy.
Okay.
So cherry. It's almost like a cherry cola flavor.
All right.
And it's just on a V60.
I love a V60. I love a pour over. I actually, I'm sorry, I don't want to make it seem like I'm staring at my phone, but I have been so excited. I've like had a notes app going all week of like just ideas and stuff like that. I think calling a coffee brand like PERC 30 would be really funny. It's like just mix the worlds at this point. I I've never heard of that, but I'm gonna have to give it a go. I've been getting the same beans from a roaster in Birmingham forever. Domestique makes the Wavelength blend, which is like an espresso blend that's really quite goated.
Mm-hmm.
But recently I got like a bag of it and it was like wonky, and I'm like, okay, well maybe instead of paying, all this money to order coffee from, 12 hours away, I found a local roaster that's about 10 minutes away, and they have a million different offerings, and they do like a bunch of like specialty, like little mini, like micro roasts, like micro batches. Stuff like that doesn't, I think it's interesting. It's fun. But for me, I tend to gravitate towards like, what's something that's reliable? Because if I'm having to change my grind, change my ratio, everything like that, every time I sit down to make espresso, it's like by the time you get something dialed in, you're out of whatever it is. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I got their lightest roast is an Ethiopian. It's like super light. Their notes were like dark chocolate, apricot, and then they say sweet berries. Mine were a little bit different. I got burnt hair, chemical fire, dirt. So I find that we got a little bit of a discrepancy going on there. And I know I'm doing everything right. It has to be them. I've never made a bad coffee in my life. I don't know if you can see if the wink is coming through.
I saw him on there. I had an experience like that recently where I was really let down, and I felt bad because a friend gave me a bag of coffee from their like favorite roaster, and I was excited because it was like a coffee that would have been down my alley, but on the bag the notes were really strange for this origin. I'm trying not to give too many details because I don't want anyone to feel like hurt
anybody's feelings.
I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, because I do appreciate anytime somebody thinks to give me coffee, and I appreciate it. But like, man, it was just a weird version of a coffee that I know and love. But it was just the roast was wrong.
Dude, that's the biggest thing for me. It's like anything trending past like true medium, I'm just like not on board with. So I went to this local place, shout out Fig Leaf Coffee Roasters in Chesterland, Ohio. They're like the super light roast Ethiopian. Badass. It's so good.
Yeah.
I got another like a Yirgacheffe, which is also an Ethiopian. Is like I think it's like a mountain range in Ethiopia that they pull stuff from. That was like medium to dark, and dude, it's like you're just fighting to try and pull anything tasty out of there. That probably would have been great for pour over or anything else, but espresso is just tough to.
I've got a challenge for you.
Okay.
A natural Ethiopian espresso. So the best espresso I've ever had was a natural Ethiopia from, this is a top 3 because I can't say one coffee is the best I've ever had. It was from Ethica in Toronto.
Okay.
But it was another shop. The shop was in Hamilton, but that guy had it dialed, and it was it was like a blueberry bomb went off in my mouth. Dude.
The one that I'm brewing now is a natural Ethiopian.
Okay.
And dude, there is a local guy that I met going to like a local farmer's market. He, towards the end of the season, when like the beans are getting a little bit older, because he orders like a lot of stuff in bulk from, he does kind of a little bit of everything, but specifically his Ethiopian, he'll buy a bunch at the beginning of the season, and then he'll roast it like as it gets closer to the end of the season or towards the end of like when you should roast it. He will put in like, when he roasts it, he'll put in like chopped up like blueberry root from like blueberry plants. like the actual bush, which sounds like, why are you putting dirt in my coffee? Why are you putting, I don't know. But dude, it is the most insane, like just raw, insane concentrated blueberry flavor. It's wild. That was one of the other notes topics that I had. How do you feel about like not coffee that you can pull flavors out of, but flavored coffee?
I will be honest. So I roast coffee. Like I am a coffee roaster. Like I work for a local place here. And since I've learned about it, I didn't like it really before either. It wasn't my cup of tea. But now that I know how like a roaster works and how easy it is to kind of fuck up a coffee, I also like a part of me, because I do like the idea of like you're trying to do as little as possible to showcase what the producer has done.
Right.
So like all of that work that the growers did and all of like the care that they put into it and, picking and processing by like, what am I trying to say here? It's like if you had like a beautiful New York strip cooked perfectly and then you like poured ketchup all over it. I just feel like it's kind of a similar, not to say that there aren't coffees that do deserve to be flavored. Like
right.
If you have like a full Robusta roast that's just roasted to second crack, yeah, you probably need to infuse it with something. But I've just never found a flavored coffee where I was like, whoa, this tastes better than any, single origin I've ever had.
I work for my grandparents in a machine shop, and my grandma drinks like flavored coffees, and she'll get me like a bag here and there, and it'll be like the most insane. It'll be like Jim Beam flavored coffee beans, and I'm like, I'm like trying to figure out what that could possibly like mean in terms of like, what does this taste like? There is something about flavored coffee beans that is so like, something in the brewing process just turns it to like dog ass. And there's like, I've yet to find one where I'm like, okay, this is good. I think like, dude, if you're going to go like the flavored route, just make regular coffee and put the flavor in afterwards. It's like, you're preserving it. You're not burning it. Like I think the general like public, they're making a pot of coffee. They're like ratios and whatnot. It's all by feel. Do your thing. Free ball it. Dude, with flavored coffees like that, it is just a complete shit show. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you make a hazelnut. It tastes hazelnutty. Sometimes you make it tastes like a chemical fire. There's no
like tree bark.
Yeah, exactly. Chicory.
That's a lot of chicory. If I ever I have seen this too. Oh, what's the fucking Cafe du Monde and with the beignets and all that?
Oh yeah, and they put chicory in there. What are we doing?
What? I don't want my coffee to taste like a tree. Okay.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's not good either. Have you had it?
Oh, it sucks ass.
It's so bad. I went to Cafe du Monde, because you have to.
As one does.
And the beignets were fire. It's a thing. I've had better beignets in Birmingham, but that's neither here nor there. But the coffee is undrinkable. It was
in terms of fried dough. I mean, you can't really. If you're putting sugar on fried dough, we're having a good time regardless. There aren't very many places that are going to screw that up.
There's parts,
I don't know. There's a couple.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it done. That's part of that's like my southern leanings. There's just certain things that I cannot get rid of, no matter how long I've been in Montreal. But I guess like, yeah, I love a good donut. I love a good beignet.
Yeah. Yeah. Any type of breakfast pastry, I'm going to be on board with.
If y'all ever come up here to play, which you should, have you ever had a most beautiful almond croissant?
No.
Okay.
I never even heard of that.
Okay. So basically you take like a regular croissant or a croissant and you cut it in half and you put like homemade almond paste, kind of like buttery filling inside of it.
Okay.
And then you take really finely chopped almonds on top and it kind of glazes to it in the oven.
I like that.
Oh, with a cup of coffee, that is unbeatable.
Are you a dunker? Do you dunk stuff in your coffee?
I will dunk.
You're a dunker. I can see. Dunk. I knew when I joined the call, I was gonna.
But not in black coffee. I'll do it in like if I have a cortado on the side.
Okay.
Or like a cappuccino.
You dunking in like my grandparents will dunk stuff in black coffee, and it's just like I can't personally get on board with it. But as long as you're having fun, at that point it's out of my hands.
Yeah, dunking into black coffee feels like dunking into water.
Yeah. I feel like I'm doing what's the hot dog race thing where they
the hot dog eating the Nathan's.
Yeah, I'm going Kobayashi on it and I'm dunking my shit in water so it slides on my gullet. Dude, all right. So now comes into my interview portion of you. What band are you in? Where did you play last night? Who are you playing with?
What the fuck, man? This is crazy. This has increasingly been more aggressive because on the last episode I talked to John who mixes like Terror and
I just listened.
Yeah, so he tried to pull that shit with me too. This is
can't let it happen.
I can't flip the camera around. You know what I mean? I do. So I play in a band called Bruiserweight.
Okay.
And it's like a New York influenced hardcore band.
Hell yeah.
With like a little bit of maybe like Midwest and Baltimore sprinkled in.
And you're a drummer?
No, I am a drummer, but I do vocals in that band.
Whoa.
So that's who I played with last night.
Whoa. Oh my God.
My other band that I do play drums in right now is called Drive By.
Okay, that does sound familiar.
And we have a demo out. And we're trying to write new music, but it's more of like a fun on the side thing. It's like, have you ever listened to Thick as Blood?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's just Thick as Blood. But yeah. And then I have some other stuff like a death metal project that I'm trying desperately to release.
Everybody has one.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. Everybody's got that one, DM side project that 90% of the time it never takes off. I don't know what it is about it. It's trying to assemble the team to get it to go. But the ones that make it out of the group chat are crazy.
Yeah, so good. Like I was in when we played Detroit in October, we played with Anadonia.
That sounds familiar too.
They have another band called Lyuda.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So they have a death metal-y. It's more death metal than Lyuda.
Okay.
But it's still like pretty technical, and it's called Anadonia. But it's Joey, who's also, I think he plays drums in Lyuda, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, we came through actually. So my dad lives in Akron.
Oh yeah, half the band is from Akron. So.
Oh, I had no idea, but we stayed in Akron when we were going from Buffalo to Cincinnati. So we drove after Buffalo, drove to Akron, stayed there. You have to go to this coffee shop in Akron.
Yes.
Portal West.
I haven't heard of that. I'll have to get on board.
It was, so we went at like 11 a.m. on Saturday, slammed, line out the door.
No shit.
Incredible baristas, incredible coffee. Like I brought a bag home. It was the craziest Indonesian coffee I've ever tasted.
Really?
Pineapple notes.
Okay.
Like, yeah, super sweet, honey, really good. And the guy who runs it he's tapped in.
Hell yeah. Dude, that's like been a very low rung like dream of mine. Especially ever since I got back up here. I like wanted to do like a coffee trailer, like something I could pull behind the car and just like quick, down and dirty, do like Saturdays and Sundays. But dude, every time I think about any of the logistical stuff that goes along with it, my brain's just short circuits. I can't. Every time I like try to think about any of the actual things that would go into it, my brain's like done.
Yeah. I have been thinking of doing like maybe trying to just see what roasting my own coffee would be like and putting out a brand or something, but it's like in the very small planning stages.
Right.
And but I'm talking to the guy that runs my the company I work for. We're like good friends, and so I'm like begging him to let me do a cold brew cart for the summer.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Where it's like a trike, like a bike, like an ice cream bike or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's taps. So you have like a nitro tap, a still spark cold brew tap, and then maybe like an oat latte.
Oh, that'd be like a pre-made, just ready to
like
go.
A La Colombe style.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because you could kill it. Because in the summer, everybody's at the park every single day. Like nobody works apparently.
Yeah, of course.
But even I think in Cleveland, especially that whole, because the area is so big with all like Akron and all like the towns around it, like Dayton, not Dayton. What's the other one? Canton.
Yeah.
There's like, everyone has like that farmer's market or that park market on the weekends.
Oh yeah. So the dude that like brews the guy that roasts with like the blueberry root stuff, he makes like his own like massive jug of cold brew. Also, I can't get out of my head the idea of like you being in Montreal and you having like not just like a coffee cart, but like a coffee rickshaw. And you like having to run around with the two handles kind of.
No, I'd make a bike. It would be like two wheels in the front. One wheel in the.
I know where you're going, and I like that, but I'm just saying, just think about this. You're pulling kind of this big thing. You're running in front of it. Dude, I just think that could be a whole thing. You never see rickshaws anymore. You'd be recycling. You'd be bringing the economy of rickshaws back to Montreal.
Well, I don't want to. I'm gonna have to have like a generator attached to like a little generator. So that's part of it. No,
no,
fuck that. I'm gonna get an electric bike to power the whole thing.
Smart. Okay.
Maybe.
I see the vision.
There was an espresso. One of the roasters here started with an espresso bike.
How do you make that work?
So there's a generator inside that powers like a small espresso machine and a grinder, and it's foot powered.
Whoa.
So you can crank like the crank also powers, like it gives the generator a bit more power. So you can have it charged and then pull like espresso with it.
Oh shit.
It was pretty wild.
It'd be cool to get like a line going and you being like, hey, give me like 2 minutes. I gotta hop on and I'm dipping below my power reserve right now.
Give me 20 minutes.
Give me 20 and you come back and you're just fucking full face flop sweating. Like what's all right, what'd you want?
It was 3 cortados.
Doing 2 and then getting back on.
That gassed it. All right, we gotta get back on. You know what? Just keep the third one.
If you can just wait for like 25 minutes, I'm gonna have this figured out.
There's gotta be a way. They're trying to make it look fake.
There's gotta be a better way. I gotta figure out how to make money off of this. It's too good. Doing my own driving crooner-esque coffee bike.
Why is it on one side? It's just got a window with the driving crooner?
With the driving crooner, yeah. Me getting into fabrication so I can figure out how to make a single plexiglass side to a bicycle. Going driving crooner mode.
I got to figure out how to make money off of this.
It's too good.
It's too good. He's gonna beat my ass. Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. I love getting off the rails like that too.
It's fun.
Okay, before we move on from the coffee, give me a coffee hot take.
Coffee hot take. I feel like people don't really know what they're ordering when they get a cortado. You get like you realize it's going to be small. It's half and half espresso and steamed milk. So I that's the one where it's like you see a guy order a cortado and he's too proud to be like, oh, that isn't what I wanted. And he's like, oh, cool. His voice is cracking. He's trying to play it cool. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. But people are too proud.
People don't know what cortados are. And then it's funny when a barista doesn't know what a cortado is.
Yeah, dude, if you run into like a barista that's just starting off, baby, it's all lattes. It doesn't matter. It's like, you want a macchiato? To me, that's a latte. You're getting coffee and milk. You want a cortado? Baby, you're getting a latte. It's coffee and milk. It's just everything off the rip is how just dumb everything down. You're getting coffee and milk. Just call it a latte
with the most foam, because they haven't figured out the aeration yet.
With that shit, like it's cotton candy. I don't care. Yeah. Stretch it until it burns.
The latte's a little dry. It's a little dry.
It hurt going down. Yeah, it hurt going down. So that one, I'm getting a special second drink, which is I don't know if you're in the same boat. When I joined Walking Wounded, we used to practice at our guitar player Steve's studio, which is in Little Italy. And across the street is a coffee shop, I believe called Blue Sky, and it was goated. Steve no longer has that same studio there, so I never have a reason to go back to Little Italy. But every time we would go down there to practice, or like when we recorded our EP, I would walk across the street. I would get a sparkling water right off the rip. I would get a still water. I would get a matcha. It's always at least two of the three or the four. So I would walk across the street and I would come back with a matcha latte and a sparkling water. Or I'd go across the street and I would get a Mexican chili latte and a matcha and an iced matcha. And I'd come back. I am a big believer in the two drink system. And I know I'm saying that I'm outside of the binary on this one, but it literally is two things. So it literally is the binary. Mm-hmm. But you gotta have the drink that's gonna bring you to life, and then you gotta have the fun one. It's all about like a very utilitarian on the one drink, and the other drink is just free game. What are we doing? Yeah. We're having fun. And a sparkling water, I mean, two things. It's fun. You're getting a little bit hydrated, more so than drinking something else. But I'm coming back. I'm double cupped. I'm ready to record. I'm ready to do my thing.
Yeah.
One of these is not going to get drank as fast as it needs to, and it's going to be the wrong temperature when I finally get in there. So, and that's just part of the gambit.
How do you feel about like an FYTC moment? Fuck you, two coffees.
Oh, it's badass, dude. When I used to go to Gold Sprint, I would get my normal. I would sit in there doing coffee shop stuff, looking at computer, listen to Phoebe Bridger, just singing the ass off at the end of her name. I would listen to just the one Phoebe Bridger, and
just the one Bridger.
So there were not multiples. Doing that, and then after I'd been there for like 45 minutes, baby, it's coffee 2 time. What are we doing?
That's good.
We get it going.
You gotta get it going.
You gotta get it going.
What was your introduction to heavy music?
So my dad listened to heavier stuff, but it was more in the vein of like Metallica, Anthrax, Pantera, stuff like that. My uncle was super big into like the heavier stuff at the time. So this would have been when I was like 5th or 6th grade. The thing, I would say like the one identifying thing that like got me into it, we had Comcast cable. Comcast had video, like music video on demand, and it had like a crazy catalog of metal stuff. And my brother's a year older. He was like more tapped in than I was. or maybe it just seems like that looking back on it. But he and I would just watch music videos from the metal section over and over and over again. So that's like how I got into Hatebreed. But dude, I am notoriously late to the party on everything. So I got into Hatebreed and like Supremacy, which is, I mean, goated album. Everybody looks over it. It's goated. But you walk it back. Satisfaction, obviously badass. Perseverance, a 10 out of 10 album. There are no skips.
No skips.
Even the song about the respecting our troops, we don't skip it. We love it. Dude, it's there's like a bunch of shit like that. At that point too, it would have been like that was the first time I saw anything for like Black Dahlia Murder. That changed the trajectory of my high school years.
Yep.
Misery Signals, that was a big one. Dude, seeing the video for the failsafe and putting it on repeat over and over and over again. Nemesis by Arch Enemy, like all of like the stuff that would have like gotten me more into that realm came from there. And then my uncle would like give me shit all the time. Being from Cleveland, I've seen Chimera like a million times. Goated metalcore band. I've seen Hatebreed in Cleveland. I'm trying to think of a number that doesn't sound insane, that is like more in line. I know I've absolutely, when I was like in middle school, saw them like 5 or 6 times, because a lot of their tours would route through here because I think like either their bass player or their drummer lived here. Mm-hmm. So there was like a lot of like Cleveland locations, but dude, insane type of group.
Integrity,
dude. So it's a kid that the kid that I would say like made me stay playing drums. We had like a little competition thing in middle school. Well, maybe one-sided. He was really badass and I wasn't, and I was like, oh, I've got to be better. He actually plays guitar for Integrity now. His name is Connor Dunn. I, like I said, notoriously late to things. Never got into them until like recently. Yeah. Just completely missed the boat. Had no idea. I would say like especially like a lot of like the earlier stuff would have been leaning towards metalcore, like the bad metalcore too. Just the worst. If you can, any type of synth, I'm like, yeah. Put this would have been in like, 10th grade moving forward.
Okay.
Well, sorry, you're in Montreal. It would have been grade 10.
I'm not from here.
Right, but just so our Canadian listeners understand.
Grade 10.
Grade 10 moving up, it would have been
right before you go to college, or cégep as they call it in French.
Try that again?
Cégep.
That sounds fake.
It's I don't know, it's like an abbreviation. But cégep is like junior college.
Okay.
And then you go to uni.
Yeah, I've never gotten on board with that one. I feel like we're dumbing it down. Uni is like I feel like you grow out of that when you hit like 19. You're like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I'm at college.
I'm in university.
Oh, excuse me. I am in university.
Yeah. Say it with your full chest. I am in university.
That's right.
With adults.
With my peers. I'm with my peers right now.
A group of selected peers.
I'm with guys that are also in my vicinity, and we are peers. And my co-conspirators.
We have similar interests. Some of us.
Higher education, whatever.
What is the best Alabama metalcore band that has ever existed?
I'm going to say it's going to be a toss-up. Probably My Children, My Bride. They kind of set it off for Alabama in like the late 2000s.
Headshot.
Insane.
Headshot.
And
A song about Halo.
Goated. What are we doing? I was in a metalcore band that recorded with Brian Hood, who was like their original drummer. Just an insanely like scary and intimidating and mean type of guy.
Yeah.
And dude, I was in a band that I had no business being in. I wasn't prepared for anything, so I'm sure I was like legitimately the bane of his existence in there. So
as the drummer, and he's like the craziest drummer.
Oh yeah, dude, just the most blazingly fast double kick you've ever heard in your life. Just upsetting. So yeah, that sucked. But yeah, I think they're the go-to. If you're like, I don't know, I feel Era's a huge band. They're also Alabama.
They are. I remember seeing them earlier on at Barbecue Fest.
Dude, yes. In don't tell me, Douglasville?
Yeah, at the 7 venue.
Dude, so I went to Barbecue Fest in 2012.
I was there.
It was no shit. It was like one of the Chariot's last shows.
It was like one, yeah, because I saw them a couple more times. I saw them another time in Savannah. They played.
Dude, goated. They were in that.
No, that was the year before because Wolf had left at the Barbecue Fest that I was at. So yeah, it would have been 2012.
Dude, Contortionist. That was fun.
That was crazy. I didn't expect that.
I went with my dad.
Foundation of Mongoloids played.
Dude, Unearth.
No, Unearth wasn't at that one, were they?
I think it was because my dad was a huge Unearth fan. And
I missed that.
Dude, it was crazy. The guy that I think his name was Tony, the guy that like ran the venue, would like order Little Caesars pizzas and like cook them on like a flat top grill. He would just order like a bunch of cheese pizzas and ask you what you wanted on it, and he would throw like everything down on the grill and just smash the pizza on top of it. Dude, that
venue was one of the greatest things that has ever happened to a music community ever.
I played there a couple times coming from like Gadsden.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, yeah, that place was truly goated. Truly goated.
There's not a lot of venues that I miss, but that is one that I think about a lot, like very fondly.
One of the first, I think it was like legitimately the first show I ever played was in Gadsden at this place called Frank's, and it was like a tiny little like hot dog shack. And right before our set, which I was like freaking out about, I was like 16 or 17, like so nervous that like my stomach feels like somebody's giving it the Cobra clutch. And my guitar player, who was like older than us by like a pretty wide margin, like speared me in the back during one of like the first bands and like fucked me up before we even sat down and played our set. And I was like, I'm going to fucking kill you. Just, damn. That venue was insane though. It was so tight. There was no room to move. Another goated one, in like 2018 through 2020, when I lived in Huntsville, we played Birmingham all the time. So we played Firehouse like seemingly every other week.
What was that with? That was with the Artificials or no?
No. So this would have been with a band called Sugar. Jesse from Wielded Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Sang for it. It was me and Matt and Micah. Matt and Micah were also in Dismal Dream, which I was in.
Okay.
It's like it was like a crossover band. So it was essentially the same band with a different singer.
Okay.
And we played there like all the time. And it was like I don't even know how to put it. It was like it was just hardcore stuff.
That venue. So I went to Nothing Till Blood's release show there.
No shit.
For Lions Become Lambs when Amadeus was still in the band. And then that was like the first show I went to in Birmingham was at the Firehouse, and it was terrifying.
Oh yeah, dude, it's still like I love going to a venue where if somebody plays their bass too loud, pieces of the ceiling will chip off on you. But dude, if you were around Birmingham at that point, do you remember the Foundry?
That's where I used to go to all the shows at the Foundry.
Dude, so I played. It was like I was in a metalcore room, and we played It was like Acacia Strain and Sworn In and like Structures and shit like that. That was badass. And then we played one. It was like the era of like album release show there.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that would have been like 2013, 2014.
Yeah, see, I wasn't there at that time anymore.
Foundry was goated.
The biggest show I think I saw at the Foundry was it was one of the first like Kubla Khan tours. So it was them, Leaders.
That sounds so familiar.
I think Great Commission played. You know that band with 3 guitarists and one of them was not turned on?
Oh, no. I don't know that one.
Oh, the Great Commission. It was really bad.
They commissioned their 3rd guitar player not to play?
Yeah, it was like a Christian like metalcore, but they called it Beatdown. And
that is my favorite metalcore move. Like being too embarrassed to say that you're a metalcore band. So you're like, oh, we're just kidding. We're a beatdown band.
If you have single note breakdowns on your guitar, like if you're playing a breakdown and then you go to single note where it's like dan da da dan da dan da dan da dan, that's your metalcore band.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You're a metalcore band. Just own it.
Yeah, I don't like. I have like a lot of shame wrapped up in my metalcore years. I think they lasted too long. But you know what? I saw God and I righted my wrongs, and now we're here.
Yeah, well, everybody's into metalcore again.
And I think you could argue that Walking Wounded is metalcore-ish.
I would say that they are.
Yeah, metalcore-esque.
But it's
just
like,
flat out metalcore.
There's good and there's bad, right? Like,
oh yeah,
I've seen some pretty bad even today. I'm not going to name names. I've seen some. No. Okay, I'm just telling you, like, so in New England, there is like every hardcore band is a metalcore band for the most part. So when you play a show in like Massachusetts or Connecticut or anywhere in that region, you're playing with at least 2 of those like panic chord breakdown, like like those style, like early 2000s metalcore bands.
Oh yeah, dude, the revival is crazy. Like, look at Sanction; they're like the perfect example of that.
Yeah,
where
that's
it's like
good. They're hardcore guys playing metalcore.
Yeah, goated.
Yeah, you guys are on the good side of the spectrum. Y'all are
Thank you.
These dudes know how to write. They know how to fucking play. They know what people like. They know they're plugged in. But then you've got like the kids that have seen like a Poison the Well video, like they saw like Nasty, and then they were like, this is hardcore, and then it's just like that's all that they know about. Yeah. Which I think that's fine.
I'm going to tell you the deciding factor, defining 100%, buddy. If you've got backing tracks and it's just sounds like an alarm clock going off, and you're playing like dun 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 dun. Yeah, buddy, you're done. You're cooked. You're metalcore. Come on.
That's it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot to be said about goofy metalcore-esque bands that like, dude, you said it perfectly. I'm not going to name names. There's like a whole underground metalcore, or I shouldn't say metal or underground. It's just I'm like not tapped in because I don't care. But dude, there are bands that play like relatively big shows that I'm like, who is this? I'm tapped in, and I'm like, I don't know who you. I've never heard of you, and they've been around forever.
This is in the Ohio area, or just in general?
Yeah, this is Cleveland.
Oh man, now I'm so curious to know. I love Cleveland.
It's a goated type of place to be.
It really is. I'm looking forward to the day I get to play No Class with like You Die First and maybe Grudge and you know.
Dude, so it was really funny. The first 10 shows I played with Walking Wounded were also with You Die First. Just an insane band. And And everybody in that band is so fucking badass too. Chris, Frank, George, Jack, other guy rocks too. But dude, and then my cousin plays guitar in Grudge.
Okay.
And I work with him. We both work for our grandparents. We work like 20 feet away from each other. And then Beige, who you had on here, Beige is how I got into Walking Wounded. He like texted me randomly. I had moved back here in 2020 and I hadn't played drums really much at all outside of just like fucking around at the house. I hadn't played with anybody, and Beach texted me and asked if I could fill in for them at a show, and I like got in contact with them and learned the songs. And then that first set that I played with them, there's like a Hate 5-6 video for, and I like watched it a couple days ago, and it's like really funny to like look, even just like a year or two back, it rocks. It's so funny to be like, oh, we don't play any of these songs anymore because they were just like impossible. It's like all,
yeah.
I don't know if that's going to come through. That's probably going to be awful for a listener.
I gotta switch to video.
Oh yeah, it's just that section.
Just that one section pops up on video.
But definitely appreciate Beige throwing my name in the ring, helping me out, dude. It's been so badass. Walking Wounded is just like the easiest fucking anything, any decision, anything that has to happen. It's like everybody knows what the score is. Everybody's generally on the same page. There's no infighting. There's nothing. It's just, hey, dude, when we picked the album art, which is truly a godsend for the EP, I think it's like a reason a lot of people checked it out. It was something that Noah, our singer, sent to the chat, was like, hey, what do we think about this? And it was like within 5 minutes done, taken care of.
Who did it?
His name is Adam Burke. He does like paintings and stuff like that, but he did End, one of their like the album cover, the first like the EP that they dropped with like the insane like painted, like it's not a nun, but it's like a woman's
it's like
face.
I have it on, literally it's on my wall. It's like a veiled kind of lady, but her face is all distorted.
Right. So he did that. He's done a bunch of like crazy stuff. I think he did like a Fit for an Autopsy thing.
He's in that scene.
Kind of. He like wasn't originally. He's just like a painter, and then people
caught on to his
like asking to do stuff. He is that dude's truly crazy. So just stuff like that. We recorded everything with Steve. Steve is a goated playboy when it comes to recording. I mean, dude is just psychotic on the ones and twos.
Just dropping that shit. Just dropping it.
He's crazy. So it like makes everything easier too when like the guy who writes everything is also just like, yeah, take this like 50 times if you need to, you know, take like a lot of, there are like parts that changed in the studio because I like messed up, and it's like, oh, that actually is kind of funner. And it's like nice to have that freedom with him. You have enough time to get everything done. You have enough time to make second or third or fourth or 25th passes at an idea.
I like doing multiple versions too. So which is
exactly.
Yeah.
It's so nice to have like a little like an assortment. It's nice to be able to choose. But I mean, dude, everything for the EP was so crazy, and that or was so easy. There was like nothing to it. And then when it dropped, it seemed like people were relatively interested in it, which is cool.
Well, with the whole thing with like Relapse, did y'all shop it, or was it like they already reached out?
It was, so they announced it in September. They hit us up. Drew Jurgens, shout out the GOAT, Drew Jurgens. He messaged the band account and was like, hey, we've been jamming the EP at the Relapse office. Would you guys potentially want to like talk about hopping on board, doing something with us. Which absolutely, I just assumed we were going to drop it and it was going to, kind of fall into the ether and just as every other release happens, you get that like little pop right at the beginning and then it kind of falls off until you have something else. But no, dude, they've been insanely support anything we want to do, any questions we have, anything. They're just do whatever you want. They rock.
That's sick.
It's been like you put everything out through them, which we did. I think they like officially released everything in October. Mm-hmm. And then you have kind of like this weird lull where it's like, okay, we're signed. We're still a very small band. So trying to like make all the moves to get, some sort of booking stuff going. So you have, other stuff going on. We're writing for new stuff right now. I think next month we're playing a new song. We're playing a church tongue show.
I was going to ask about that.
Very stoked. We got hit up about that last week, so I'm stoked.
Dude, church tongue is sick.
They're so badass.
I love that.
They're so badass. So that's really exciting.
Strange Savannah connection from church tongue.
Oh, can I take a stab in the dark here?
Yeah.
Does it have to do with Vatican?
Of course.
It's Mike Sugars.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So we played with Vatican a bunch because Jesse from Wielded Steel, when they were in Sugar, was in a band with Tom, also from Vatican, who is now playing for Vomit Forth, if memory serves.
He's doing Vomit Forth. Wasn't he doing Vane at one point?
He was doing Vane. Him and
Nolan,
goated, handsome type of man.
He's a tall man. He's a tall
man. So we played with them a bunch. Just goated. So it's nice. I haven't played with them since Mike joined, but
they're on hiatus apparently.
Yeah. So you got like Mackey's doing Dying Wish.
Shout out John Mackey.
Insane type of guy to know.
Hosian is playing with
Fleshwater and Vane.
Yeah, Fleshwater and Vane, I think.
Crazy. That's so goated. So badass.
Yeah. He's full-time in Fleshwater, I believe.
Dude, what's going on with Matt from Vane? Is he like coming back or?
Well, his hand, didn't he have to have like major surgery?
That I don't know. All I know is watching any video of that guy play drums is so intimidating because I've never seen somebody hit so hard and literally never miss. He's
like Eloy Casagrande. He's crazy.
But it's insane. It's insane. He's crazy.
I saw them on that tour that he had like fucked his hand up. Like he broke his hand.
That's
on
crazy.
Tour. And I saw them on that tour and he played the set.
No shit.
Yeah. But by the end of it, apparently like the drummer from Scowl and I can't remember if it was Touche or if it was Military Gun. They were having to like fill in.
Yeah. Dude. Awesome.
Which David Stallworth is, I think, the drummer for Military Gun now. The drummer for Torrena.
Oh yeah. Dude, that dude rocks.
He's good.
Damn. There's so many like insane bands. There's like actually weirdly enough. So before even like joining Walking Wounded, there's so many bands that like I find out about because the group chat and the Walking Wounded group chat is just like Noah and Tim and Steve just constantly throwing bands in there. Before that, like I had a bunch of people hit me up for like building drum stuff for it.
Yeah.
And that's how I found out like so many sick bands. I just like ended up meeting their drummer through one avenue or another. So
yeah, shout out throw the name of your drum. Do they just hit you up on personal or do you have
they just hit me up on on the personal one. So I have like I've been saying this for like 2 years, so who knows, but I have like a brand, but I haven't like done anything with it yet. So it is a lot of like I'm also blushing.
Thank you.
I'm really lazy. I like work in a machine shop all day and like work with metal and shit like that. So I get done with work and it's like, okay, do you want to go freeze out in the garage and also work with metal after you've just done it for 8 hours straight? So I get like really lazy in that regard, but then I'll have like spurts where I'll make a bunch of shit at one time. So that's like one thing this year that I really want to like hone in on, because I feel like people are interested. So
are you building from scratch?
Yeah. So everything that I've had so far is rolled and welded. I don't have anything that's like solid like lathes or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has just been rolled and welded. I started a couple years ago. As every drummer does, I want a Tama Bell brass. I want one of the original 80s ones that are like $20,000 now. And I was like, okay, well, I obviously can't afford that because I work at Target. What can a lowly guy like me do? And come to find out, it is roll and weld a brass shell and then cut some edges on it on a router table and slap some hardware on it, call it a day. The first ones, dude, up until like a month or two ago, the like first one that I made, I was still playing like every show. So there are two that came out of the same piece. I was going to say, I don't know if they're somewhere around here.
Is that an Imperial Star?
That is, let's see if I can get a little of this going. That is my go-to kit as of right now. It is an 80s, like an early 80s superstar.
Oh.
So the birch shells that somebody like refinished, and dude, I lucked out. Thank you. It is. I bought it for $350. It is the most perfect sizes of anything ever. It is 24 by 14, 13 by 9, and 18 by 18. I cannot go back to like regular sizes. Oh, I also have, I hate to do this to you.
That's good.
Right here is another Thomas Superstar kit stacked up. And then behind that is a Pearl, or sorry, not a Pearl. It is an 80s Yamaha recording custom in the corner there.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
Do you have all the drums for that kit?
For the recording custom?
Yeah.
Yes, that is 24 by 16, I believe. It is 12 by 9, 14 by 10, 16 by 16. And then I have a, in the 80s, their stuff before it was like straight up the recording custom or stage custom or whatever it was. There was like the 9000 series, which was what the recording customs became. There was the 8000 series, which I believe were called the Tour Custom, and they were called like the Turbo or something like that. Mm-hmm. The 18 is off of like a Tour Custom kit in the same like black wrap. But when I got it, the dude had been using it as a kick drum, so it spent its entire life on its side.
Oh,
and
no.
It is so out of round. I paid like $100 for it, so whatever.
It's warped as fuck then.
Oh, dude, it's awful. It's awful. So, but that is without a doubt the most unbelievable sounding kit I've ever played. It's
What'd you record with?
So I just sold it to my guitar player, Tony. It was a Ludwig. It was like a matching set of red sparkle 70s toms. It was dude, that thing was goated. I should have held on to it, but at least I get to play it every time we practice at Tony's house. It was a 14 by 10 rack, 18 by 18 floor, and a 24 by 16 kick. And then the snare on that album was the first snare I made. It was like a 14 by 6.5, 3mm brass.
Man, the like any drummer, just follow Pete. Just follow Pete. It's the Instagram.
Come to me. Come to me.
Thank you. That's I'm so tempted. Like the superstars that you're selling with the 2 floor toms. I want that kit so bad because
we can meet in the middle on it. I'll throw in a snare.
That's crazy. My first kit ever was a it was the reintroduction from the Rockstar to the Superstars.
Oh yeah.
So you know how they had made the Superstars in like the 80s, and then they did the Rockstars in the 90s, which was like the same level where they
that was
did
my first kit.
Huh?
Was one of the remake Rockstar kits.
The Rockstars with like the long tube lugs.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like a marching lug look, but then when they transitioned back to the Superstars with the Starcast mounts, it was like one of the first runs with Starcast. And then I had a wine red with the floating 14 floor tom.
Yeah.
Horrible. I've learned I hate floating.
We can't do floating floor toms, guys. What are we doing? That is like the make or break. Like I saw a Star Classic kit for sale the other day, and it was like $700, which is crazy. It was like 10, 12, 16, 22. And I was like, dude, just for like a beater, whatever.
With the 10? That's crazy.
Yeah, which the 10, it can fuck off. I'm not going to mess with it.
I want a 10 for mine because I've got a 12. I got a 12, a 16, and then the regular 22.
Okay.
But I want to match. I don't know if I'll ever be able to find a matching 10.
Is it like the red, but it's like natural finish? It's not like a wrap, right?
No, I had the wrap, and it's sold. I took the wrap off, and I kind of like restained it, sanded down because it had a really, really fucking bad wrap edge on it.
Oh yeah,
like where they actually like made the shells.
Oh, the seam for the shells where it comes over, it looks insane.
Horrible. And so I had to sand it smooth, refinish it, and then I put the lugs back on. I think I sold it for like $200 to a friend, which sucks. But I play a Star Classic now.
Dude, I have had 4 Star Classic kits, and I'm like, dude, I'll give you the rundown. I'm like always on Facebook Marketplace. That's what's on in the background right now. I'm not looking at it. I'm being very attentive to the conversation. I'm not looking at drums on Marketplace right now. But trying to find a Star Classic kit that has an 18-inch floor tom and a 24-inch kick is impossible.
It's not possible.
It's crazy. So I have found this dude bought an add-on kit from Tama for a kit that he had for a Star Classic, and it's like very dark brown, almost black, like gloss finish. It's a 14 by 10 rack tom, perfect. 18 by 18 floor tom, perfect. But it's just the tom pack. It's like weird. It's like 10, 14-inch rack, 18-inch floor, and dude wants like $900 for it, which is actually not. It isn't too crazy.
It's not unheard of.
I'm talking about here's my play. I'm going to give you the play-by-play here. Talk him down to 700. No big deal. Everybody's having fun. There's another guy in Ohio that is selling a 24-inch, I think it's a Star Classic maple kick, and it's the most insane green color you've ever seen. That guy wants 400. So here's what I'm thinking. We talk the guy with the toms down from 900 to 700. We talked the guy with the kick drum down from 400 to 300. $1,000 in, you've got a Star Classic kit with a 24, 14, 18. They don't match, but if it's just for me at the house, what do I care?
Or for recording, even
insane. It would be perfect. It would be the perfect kit.
Mine's the maple. Mine's the first. It's a 2008, so it's the first year they made in China.
Damn. Okay.
But I got the 12, the 16, and the 22 for. The guy wanted 1,500 Canadian, so like probably like almost 1,000 US.
That ain't bad.
Oh, I got it for 12, so like about 700 Canadian.
God damn.
I mean 700 US. So yeah, I love that kit. But now I want either a 14. I almost bought that SLP utility Snom.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like the perfect size. It's a 14 by 12 like floor tom with the snares.
Dude, and those just pull the snares off, call it a day.
That's what I'm saying. Or keep it.
Keep it. A little bit of buzz never hurt anybody. I mean, come on.
You know, like you put the right heads on. Maybe I want to have a Yusuf Days moment. You don't know.
Okay. Dude, do you know there's a guy, you're a drummer. There's a guy named it's like Jharis, Jaris, I think is Yoakley. He's like he's a Berkeley dude, and he is one of the most insane dudes I've ever watched. He's crazy. But yeah, he plays he's a Tama dude, and he's just all over the place. It's insane watching him.
It's hard for me to watch these like young Berkeley drummers because I'm like, I will never be that good, and you're 10 years younger than me, and you're just fucking ripping.
I think, dude, a happy middle ground where you can be happy just in your own right. I think specifically in the type of music that we play, it doesn't matter how good I am. If I can, at the very minimum, play the parts and hit hard as dog shit. I mean, dude, just play your drums hard, guys. It is true. It's not, there's no secret to it. You just have to hit your shit. Hit them. They're meant to be hit. What are you going to do? Break a head? Call it a day. Dude, that is the biggest thing. If I could tell anybody that's like trying to like, dude, just hit them hard.
Hit them hard.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing when I record bands is like, I can adjust I can edit your playing. Like I can move shit. I can nudge it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or, worst case. Yeah. Like, but if you don't hit hard,
I can't fix that.
I can't fix that.
Yeah, dude, you're leaving so much on the table when you play soft. I mean, obviously there are genres where you can afford to do that. There's genres where, your dynamics could be more musical. But dude, if you're playing a show where the only thing that's mic'd up is your kick drum, hit them things. I don't know. Hit them. Dude, and another thing,
tune your snare tight.
That's right. Dude, if I have to play another show where I can't hear the snare, what are we doing, man?
If I can hear the bottom of your snare louder than I can hear that fucking batter head, you're done. Dude, I can't listen to you. You're
cooked. I don't know what to tell you. One of my favorite things, especially coming from playing like metalcore, where it's nobody wants to share kits, to now it's like 8 guys, we're all using the same kit. It takes 8 minutes to switch between sets. The worst thing is when the guy that brings the kit has like not tuned it, and you've got like a really weird sized kit. When we played in, which I will say, it did sound goated, so I shouldn't even say anything. We played in Indianapolis last month or something like that. It was 10-inch tom, 14-inch floor, and then like an 18-inch kick with like the riser.
No.
And I was like, how is this gonna work? And dude, they were tuned really high, and I was like, my shit is tuned literally like finger tight on everything.
Yeah. With like a quarter turn.
Yeah, exactly. Just enough to like actually hear sound out of it. And to me, that's my go-to. But dude, it sounded incredible. It sounded crazy. But dude, the worst thing to have to do is like sit down behind somebody else's kit and be like, do you want if I like tweak your tom or something like that? A high rack tom is going to be the death of me. If I hit it and I'm hearing, we're done, dude. What am I doing? Am I in a jazz quartet? What am I doing here?
I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to say anything. I can't. The most important thing, aside from being able to play loud and tempo and basically let the band lean on you, you got to put the band on your back.
That's right.
That's the job of the drummer. And but if you can't tune your drums, it's easy to learn. And if you can't, get a tune bot.
Oh yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Get a tune bot.
I lucked out. I wouldn't say that I'm like great at tuning, but it rocks because Steve runs a studio. he's just constantly fiddling with stuff. So he's one of those guys where it's like, put something in front of him, it's like pop, 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 pop. Sounds incredible. It's crazy to me. So, and it was really cool too, because going into the studio with him is like, okay, here's my idea for how I want the kit to sound. I want the toms to be as low, the lowest fundamental note that they can produce. And then I want the snare to be so cranked that, dude, we beat the dot, like the center dot off of a Primo, a Control Sound X in the middle of the studio. It's just, dude, you make it tight, beat the shit out of it, call it a day. There's no secret sauce, man. It's like, you just got to hit your shit. Yep.
You just got to hit it. It's meant to be hit.
Yeah, exactly. If it were something that you weren't supposed to be hitting, then you wouldn't be hitting on it. If you're going to hit it. Come on.
Like, worst case, you're going to bust a head. That's $30.
I think I play relatively hard. I haven't broken a drum head in years. These same heads, which I put those heads on in like May of 2023. Every show we go to, generally, I bring that kit and like let anybody play it. The heads that are on there still sound good. It has been almost 2 years of not only me playing on it, but everybody else playing it too. And it's like, dude, just hit them. That's what they're there for.
So my snare that I play is usually a 14x8 Ludwig's Superlight. Yeah. And I did some fuck shit and I put a single ply clear head on top and just basically tuned it as high as it would go.
Yeah.
And then same with the bottom head, cranked the shit out of it. Second song of a set, I hit the snare. All of a sudden, it sounds like a tom because I had just blown out the fucking bottom head.
Dude, I've like seen that a lot more recently. I made a drum for Zach Miller, who used to be the drummer for Gel. I've made him a couple drums. Goated type of guy, insane on the drums, beats the shit out of them. He had a brass drum where like he had a 3mm 14x6.5 brass drum that he like kept breaking bottom heads on, and I was like, is like the edge sharp? And I think he said it wasn't, because like that's one thing. Bottom oh my god, bearing edges, like they've got to be like really smooth because those heads are so thin that any instance of anything working against him is just going to split right through. But dude just hits his drums like a man, and you go through shit, and it's like, I'm sorry, that sucks, but it sounds nice. Sounds really good. We like that.
I think it was just so much pressure in the fucking drum that it just blew out.
I think too, like if you don't have like a lot of ports for air to move out, especially something big like that, that like negative pressure, it's just gonna.
It 100%. That's what it was like. Yeah, like a cannon just blew out the bottom.
Yeah, I gotta quit hitting the desk when I'm trying to make it's gonna be really bad for
just
podcast.
Be knocking everything over.
Yeah, that's my bad.
What are the plans for Walking Wounded for 2025? Are y'all touring? You need a tour.
So that is on the docket. We don't have anything like set in stone as of right now. We have next month. We are playing Captive album release show. Captive is a bunch of the guys from You Die First. Frank, Chris, Jack. It's You Die First 2. Their EP release show, which is going to be, it's at Class. It's going to be a rager. It is going to be a banger. The night before that is that Church Tongue and Sour show in Columbus. That's going to be crazy. We have another show in the books that hasn't been announced yet, so I can't say. And then we're working right now on getting some like a booking type of person. And then hopefully kind of middle of the year, towards the end of the year, we have a lot more going. We're doing a lot of like writing right now. So hopefully, I don't know about this year, but hopefully, if anything, by the end of this year, going into the beginning of next year, we have something else to put out, probably a full length.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, I've been listening to Bestial Condemnation. I like it.
Thank you.
I think it's a slapper. It's a banger.
I appreciate that.
It's got No Cure feature on it.
Goated type of band.
It's got a You Die First. So there's a little bit of Cleveland, a little bit of blood.
We got to rep the boys.
You got to rep the boys. Yeah. I mean, y'all, like, I think when Beej was telling me about it, y'all's numbers were like on Spotify, it was like lower. And then I checked recently. I'm like, damn, these are kind of high, bro. So
I think we've been added to a bunch of playlists, which is always fun. But yeah, dude, I think the label announcement has done some work for us. So
but
hopefully bigger and better things.
Yeah, straight up. I'm stoked for that Church Tongue show. I hope that they do a little bit more.
I'm hoping so too. So I know they're putting on an EP. I hope we get something. Give us a little more.
Which I don't know how, because Nico's busy, obviously.
Yeah.
But
he's knocking stuff loose out of there on the road. So,
dude, he's on payroll. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, that dude's getting metalcore money right now. Well, hardcore money, whatever.
It's hardcore at heart, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Those guys are goated. You have to respect the hustle.
I put so much respect on that name. I will not talk shit about them ever.
That's right.
And I will talk shit on people that talk shit on them.
That's right. Put them in their place.
I think we're crossing the finish line. We have talked about so much coffee stuff, which is sick. I can't wait to have drum money so that I can pay you for things.
Yeah, you can't. I don't know if they can see it, but I'm doing like the Birdman, like rubbing my hands together thing.
I just have one last question for you before we log off.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite city for beans and breakdowns?
I would say it's gonna have to be between Birmingham and Cleveland. There's you got a lot going on. Birmingham, I know a lot has changed in terms of like the beans. Revelator's gone, which they were funky towards the end, so we don't fuck with that.
I don't like Revelator, but that's a long story.
So, but I mean, in terms of, I mean, Cleveland's got it all.
They have it all.
We've got it all.
Phoenix.
We've got it all, baby. I've been to Phoenix once, but I was like 12, so I don't know if I would recognize. Oh no, never mind. I'm sorry. You're not
Phoenix
talking
coffee.
about the town. You're talking about the roaster. Goated.
And then
Sorry.
There's Rising Star.
Rising Star, good.
I haven't been to Six Shooter yet, but I heard it's good.
Dude, Six Shooter, badass, right next to the Beachland on Waterloo. Insane. They had like a cherry Coke cold brew that was insane. I haven't seen it in a while, but bring it back. I need it. Dude, Roasted in Lakewood, kind of down the street from Mahal's on Madison, goated. There was a place called Loop in Tremont that was awesome. There's a place in Menor that is, you don't go there. But I mean, for everything else, if you're sticking around the Cleveland area, you've got a ton of choices. And yeah, I think we're in a good spot here.
Shout out Portal West and Akron Coffee Roasters.
You put me on a game like you would not believe. I'm gonna have to hit it up.
Dude, I'm telling you, Portal West it's really fucking good.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
and
I'm gonna
the
have to check
baked goods
it out.
are on point too.
You know I love a baked good.
Oh, Big Boy's got to eat.
That's right. That's about it.
Well, Pete, again, thank you so much for hanging out. Excited to see what you guys do this year.
Thank you for having me. This was a blast.
Come to Montreal.
I'm gonna make that my life's goal for this year. We're gonna be up there.
It's your New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Beans and Breakdowns. I want to say a huge thanks to Pete for hanging out on the podcast. Lots of great drum talk in there. Be sure to check out Bestial Condemnation, the newest EP from the band Walking Wounded, available on all streaming platforms. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. You can find out more information about the podcast by following us on Instagram at Beans and Breakdowns. Until next week, be sure to stay caffeinated and wake the fuck up.